And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. And today we have a very special guest, one I'm excited to talk to. He's the author of these beautiful books behind me that you see here. And he is a man of many trades, a jack of all trades. He has many talents that we'll discuss, and he also has many names, 3 to be exact. And I'm talking about my very good friend, an awesome author, and that is Matt Sean Bell. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Chris. How are you, man? I'm doing good.
Good. Thank you for being here, man. I am excited.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Heck yeah. We got a lot of people in the chat to hang out with us so far. We got another author, Ryan Skeffington, Skeff Dog. What's up, man? Here we go. That's right. Library on Legs. My good friend Senna is here. She's awesome. She does a booktube channel where she takes care of her horses and talks about books she's read. So it's pretty fun.
Cool.
Jenkins, L. Jenkins Squire. I like it. Yes. Timothy Wolf is also here. And he said, did I give you a little jump there when I came on? That's what I always go for, but you're the first person I actually scared. Oh, I see why. His volume was turned up all the way. Yeah, that happens. And we got Brian BP McCoppin, who, if anyone watches my book mail videos, that sweet shirt I wear is from my friend BP and his awesome books. So yes, I'm excited. Beast mode. Here we go. All right. So I'm sure we'll have some more friends pop in as we go. But yeah, we are here for you, my friend. So first of all, again, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. We talked a little bit about how this is, one of your first interviews doing something like this. So I am thrilled.
Absolutely. It's really exciting for me. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, man, right. I'm thrilled that I'm the first one. So I'm excited. And I think I read your first book and it was very good. We'll talk about it in a second, my thoughts. But I think you'll be doing more and more interviews because these are very cool stories. And we're going to talk all about them. So
cool. Thank you.
First off, I want to just give you a chance to just let everybody know kind of what your trilogy is about in general, however you want to blurb it. I know blurbs are like an author's worst nightmare. So however you want to word it in the author's words, what would you tell your pitch for your books?
Sure. So what I usually say to introduce my books is that the Aidaean Saga is an epic science fantasy adventure about a group of heroes who must band together to stop a great war from destroying their world. That's like the overarching plot of the whole series. Very similar to things like Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons, all this fantasy or high fantasy stuff. But I also have where it's science fantasy, where it's also melded with the elements of science fiction like technology and, laser guns and space travel. And I wanted it to be a mixture of those two styles in a way where they were kind of melded together seamlessly. Well, I could also do something unique. It's harder and harder to make something unique in literary fiction as people continue to make, the same ideas or new ideas,
Yep, I agree. And I think you nailed it because I love that about it. It did feel very much like a mashup of the sci-fi I loved with the technology and the different kind of alien races.
Yeah.
Then also the fantasy side, it felt very much like a fantasy story too. And I think that's pretty hard mashup to get right. And I feel like you really captured it.
Thanks. I'm trying to get the fans of both genres to look at it. If they're interested in those elements being mixed, I know not everyone, some people like it just hard fantasy, like Tolkien with elves. I get that,
Yeah. True. But I mean, you can't argue when it's done well like you did. It's pretty sweet.
Well, thank you. I work really hard on it. Not just the stories, but the underlying world building is something I spend a lot of time on. I have a lot of notes. I have something called my compendium, which is unpublished, but it's over 600 pages of just notes. World building, the religion, the creatures, the characters. I have maps. So I have a lot of stuff that people haven't seen that I use to build the stories that I developed before I even wrote them. So it already
Wow.
has this really continuous, deep lore that kind of functions on its own, separate from the stories, which is why I hope people will see the value in the setting itself and adapt it to other things. I would love if people would play Dungeons and Dragons and, use my ridiculously fleshed out setting, for a campaign. That would be amazing. I play a lot of D&D, so.
Heck yeah, man. Most of us do. Most of us do.
I get
Ryan
it.
Ryan Skeffington said,
Thank you,
"Great
Ryan. I
pitch." And
appreciate that. My first time doing this.
hey,
I
man,
appreciate you,
600
man.
page of notes. He said, "My
Yeah, I
hero."
mean, I wanna publish it one day with pictures and a big hardcover
Heck yeah,
volume.
dude.
When I'm done with the story, when everything's done.
That's a good idea. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
No, I've always wanted to do Dungeons and Dragons. I just never had like a sibling or friends or anybody that got into it. So
Yeah,
finding
my
everybody
brother got me into it.
Did he?
He's
Yeah.
about
See?
4 years older than me. Yeah, I understand.
So I'm hoping I've found some people on here that said they would do like a virtual one through like a live chat.
Yeah, a
like
lot
this.
of people meet and play virtually. It's more common than you think nowadays, especially after COVID.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Right.
All right. So Timothy Wolf is an author, and he writes lizard people in his fantasy. He wants to know, do you have any lizard?
I do.
Yes, you do.
I do. They're more like in the role of almost like Native American tribes who are like wandering the world after their empire was wiped out, but they exist.
Yeah.
They're called the Sauriaks. I have lizard people. I thought of a lot of stuff. I know people like lizard people. People play the Elder Scrolls and play as Argonians. I get it.
Oh yeah. Yep, you made his day. He's pumped.
Cool.
And then Keys, my friend Keys is here. What's up, Keys? Thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Shoot. Oh yeah, I did love that. Every time a character was introduced, I was like getting pumped to see like, all right, how's he gonna describe like their hair color or their skin color?
Right. Yeah.
I know this isn't just gonna be a human. This is gonna be something cool.
Right.
So I can tell you had things like all that lore and everything already built. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm a visual writer. I wanted to be a filmmaker before I became an author. So I'm really into the cinematic influence in TV shows. And I think, I love books, but I find myself more influenced by the pacing of those things than novels,
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That is good, because I was going to ask what some of your inspirations were. So that's obviously one. D&D is another.
Yeah, D&D. I always say Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I love Warhammer. Warhammer.
Oh, nice.
On the sci-fi side, I guess things like Star Wars, Star Trek, the things that really get down to those concepts.
Yeah. I felt the opening scene, like early on, really felt like cool, like a Star Wars type scene to me. Like
Yeah.
Like
I was probably subconsciously inspired by like Empire Strikes Back when I wrote that or something.
That's exactly what I pictured, man. It was awesome. You sucked me in right away.
I'm glad. Really, that's great.
Yeah, that's exactly what I pictured. Well done. Ryan said Warhammer fan. That
right. There you go. He gets it. Yeah.
He gets it. And yes, Senna, I do apologize. I have never played D&D, but that will change. It's going to change. Too many cool people in here want to teach me the way. So we'll see.
It's easier to learn than you think, actually.
That's what I hear. It seems like it'd be hard.
They have like a new edition coming out or came out, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good to know. Ryan is kind of working on doing a lot of lore with his books and his writing. He writes sci-fi fantasy too, but more on the sci-fi side, but it does have some fantasy elements.
Mine leans a little more into the fantasy, I think, through the visual design. It's medieval fantasy mixed with, it's decidedly like feudal medieval. They're all like city states and they wear like knight armor. You know what I mean? Mine leans more heavily in the fantasy side. If I had to,
for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about these covers, because I thought they looked so awesome, and you told me who's the one that made these covers.
Yeah, I made them. I used a combination of stock art and Photoshop, and I made them myself. You know, it's not
Very
like a
cool.
template. A lot of people buy templates. I made the template myself.
There you go. Ah, I've got too much
But
flair. There's the second one. Very cool.
yeah.
And my favorite, they're all awesome, but this
Oh
one's
yeah, that's my favorite too. Actually,
so cool.
yeah, it
Looks
looks great.
awesome. You did a fantastic job. So how did that was that something you always thought you're like, I'm gonna figure out how to do this all on my own? Or did you just play around with it and you're like, that actually looks pretty sweet?
Well, I had a cover artist originally doing work for me.
Okay.
And then it just didn't work out. You know, things don't always work out.
Right.
So I said to myself, I'm going to have to, because it was really stopping me for like 6 months from publishing Triumph of Destiny, which is the brown book there. That's the first one I published. You know, I was sitting around. I had a lot of troubles with the cover, and, you know, I had some business issues, you know, with my artist and stuff. And I just said to myself, look, if this is going to come out, I'm going to have to make this cover myself. This is driving me crazy. Like, I have it finished and I'm sitting here unable to publish it because my artist, you know, is taking too long to do the work I need to do. So I just said to myself, you know, screw it. I'm going to learn Photoshop. I'm going to just do it myself. You know?
That's cool,
and,
man. Well,
yeah,
that's it.
Out. It did. It's good now. You have that graphic design knowledge ends up helping you in a lot of ways anyway. I think everyone should have some rudimentary idea on how to do that. Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right, so take me through your writing journey a little bit. So when you were younger, did you always have because how old are you right now? I'm 29 right now.
Okay, 29. So when you were like, did you start writing like in school? Did you like to write, or in your teens? Or did it come around later?
Like, I remember being in 5th grade, you know, you write in those composition notebooks. I remember saying to myself, this is awesome. I like doing this more than anything. You know, I go through school, I'm always in like honors level or AP writing classes. So there's obviously I have some natural talent for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and I started writing stuff pretty seriously when I was like in early college, in my early 20s. You know, I wrote a short story collection that's unpublished. Kind of needs too much work at this point to publish. And it was at a time when my professionalism has changed a lot. It was at a time when I was more amateur. Now it would take too much work to bring it up to the standard of quality that the books behind you have. You know, I was like 21.
Yeah.
So really, you know, I've been doing it for a while, but I would say I really didn't start writing seriously and coming up with Aidaean Saga until I was, I don't know, let me think for a second, maybe 24 or 25.
Okay.
I'm thinking. And, you know, it's a process. The first one, because of, you know, I had to learn myself how to do every aspect of the production, the writing, the editing, you know, the publishing.
It's a lot.
Putting the cover together, the logistics of it, shipping it, marketing it. I literally do everything myself, you know? Yeah. So you got to come up with how you're going to do all this. And you don't really have a lot of resources or people that give you a tutorial on how to do everything yourself.
Right.
So, I mean, it was pretty, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty arduous at first. I would say it took me maybe almost 3 years to publish that first book. But once you know what you're doing and you have your cover template, you have your manuscript template, it becomes so much easier when you know. And you don't have to say, oh my God, I'm going to print 100 of these. What if the title is off? I mean, it's maddening sometimes. Oh, I bet. Once you finish your first one, it becomes significantly easier. The one after, Chronicle of Fate, which you read, that's the prequel. That I finished in 16 months. And then Chaos of War, I finished in 12 months. And I'm just happy I'm able to keep the quality standard at the level where I want it while still manufacturing a book every year. I think I don't talk about that a lot, but I think it's a very impressive thing that I'm still able to produce them while still managing every role myself. And, you know, doing everything else I have to do in my life. I have the eBay business I manage that makes me some passive income so I could write full time. That's great, man. Okay.
So I wondered, so you're able to focus on your writing because you can make some money from, do you work from home with your?
Yeah, I sell stuff. I had a large inheritance from my uncle, mostly like die-cast cars and collectibles, and it was really like, if I showed you my garage, you'd be amazed. So I just sell that like a retail store, you know?
Yeah, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you get to you get to chase this dream and like make it a reality. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm thankful at being able to do it, and I'm even more thankful that I've been fairly successful with it, considering the route I took with selling it on Etsy rather than Amazon,
Right.
and packaging them all myself.
Yep.
You know,
that was my next question. Was how did you come about that decision? Like, what made you decide to go that way, only that way?
well, it was a risk, like anything. Publishing them in general is a risk. It's an investment. You may not get all your money back. But that was more of like an ideological risk, where I was saying to myself, like, are people even going to look at my, like, nobody buys newly published books on Etsy, is what I was saying to myself. This isn't going to work. I'm going to be selling it on Amazon in 2 weeks like everyone else.
Right.
But it worked out reasonably well. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with the amount of sales I have, considering everything and my profit margins.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't think it would work out as well as it has. It's kind of great,
That's good. That's pretty awesome, man. Well,
no,
it
it's
pays
very
off to bet on yourself sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's an investment. It has risk.
Yep.
You may spend all this time on your books and you produce them, and then 50% of it is just marketing them. Then you got to do that after you think you're done.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
It is, for sure. So I read the prequel first. Is that how you would recommend people to read it, or should I have read one and then gone back?
Yeah. The publication order is Triumph of Destiny, Chronicle of Fate, and Chaos of War. But yeah, the brown one, then the yellow one, then the red one was the order they were published in. But because of the way the continuity works and the way I set it up with dramatic irony and just the way it was set up, I always tell people to read it in the chronological order of Chronicle of Fate, which is book 0, Triumph of Destiny, book 1, Chaos of War, book 2. And the main reason why I tell people to do that is because not only was it written to be read in that way, but also you get dramatic irony, you get better character development. You get to see what all these characters did that put them in the places they are in Triumph of Destiny without me spoiling anything. I want to be very general about it. You know what I mean? But I've had people read it. They describe the transition from Chronicle of Fate to Triumph of Destiny to be seamless. And that's kind of how I designed it to be. I want it to be you glimpsing at all these characters in short stories, and then you watch as they all converge and the main plot kicks in.
That's awesome. That's kind of how I felt like it was going to go, because I love that.
Yeah, it seems
seeing all their stories individually like that. That
right.
was cool.
Yeah, it was an experimental idea that I had, and I think it works well. But I think my greater strength is more serialized writing, like episodes that are all related to each other. Now that I have a couple books out there, you have an idea of what you are objectively good at. As an author.
Oh yeah, everybody's probably good at different things, right?
Yeah. Everyone has different influences based on things that they read, different writing styles, Yeah.
So do you still read now as you're writing and focused on this? Do you still find time for reading, or
it's harder for me to read because I pressure myself to produce a book, but I want to read more. I really want to go back and read books that I like. Like, one of my favorite books, John Gardner's Grendel, if you haven't read it, is an amazing book.
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
It's a retelling of the Old English poem Beowulf from the perspective of Grendel, and it humanizes and philosophizes him. It sounds kind of crazy, but I loved it. I thought it was so interesting.
Nice. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I've heard of it, but I haven't checked it out.
It's old. I think it's from the early 70s, I think.
Yeah, as I say, it's an older one. I thought so, yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. Okay. So was that one that you just like, or was that one that you think inspired this, your writing a little bit?
It was one that I liked, but on like a related note, I think that the pacing of that book, it's about 170 pages.
Yeah.
Taught me that you can have a very detailed story spanning decades that's brief, that you could finish quite quickly and is more accessible. And I think I also have that style. My books are all like novellas. I haven't written anything extremely long besides my reference material.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of live by the pacing of that book a little bit. I think it really helped teach me that it's more about the pacing of the story than the page length, in my opinion. You know, people may not agree with me, but you know, that's how I feel about it.
I agree, and I love novella length because you can get through them so quick.
You can actually finish
them
it.
anywhere.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's how I feel. I feel like writers write the things they would want to read.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's good. I agree. I think they're great, man. And I'm excited to finish up the next two books. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
It was well done, my friend.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So you've got these 3 out right now. So what's next for your writing? Is it staying in this world and
yeah, I'm actually writing the 4th book now.
Okay.
I want to release it in October, I want to say. That's at the latest. I've got about 9 chapters done over like 100 pages, so it's going to be the longest, most complex, and most involved one yet that uses and synthesizes information from each one.
Nice.
I think it's going to be awesome. And I'm trying to, without going into specifics, because I don't want to spoil anything, I'm trying to, you know, when you have 3 or 4 books out, this is to like everyone who writes, or like anyone really, anyone who does something creative, you risk it becoming formulaic when you've done it 2, 3, 4 times.
Right.
People are expecting it to be the same thing, or feeling that they may be bored by it being the same thing. I can't just, have them fight the same enemies and have the same things they've been doing. So I'm really making an effort with this new book to prevent it from being formulaic or stale. Not that it's becoming so, but I think that it's really inspired me the direction the plot has been going in. So I think the people reading it will think it's a really interesting twist and a new direction before the story ends with book 5.
Okay, so you think it's 5 books.
Yeah, I'm trying to freshen it up before it ends. You know, things get stale in like the penultimate chapters of a lot of things. It's very common. For sure. Movies, TV shows, anything.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep the momentum.
Yeah,
with anything.
I agree. I agree, and I feel like as a reader, I can tell when an author was really pumped about a book they were writing. So I feel like if you're excited, it's going to come through.
You feel the passion that the person writing it has in the text, and consequently, you feel the lack of passion when someone is just pumping something out. Or it's like AI generated stories on Amazon. Don't even get me started on that shit. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think we all, most of us here could get going on that with you, man.
I know. I don't want to open a can of worms.
That's all right. That's all right.
Hey,
I know.
It's
all right,
definitely controversial. What's going on?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, well, especially to in this community, when you have authors like you who work their butt off to create a story, and then readers like us who love to consume and those stories and support real authors who poured their soul into something, and then you have the other side.
I mean, I've had accusations on my art's AI generated. And if you look at the date of when my art was licensed, it's like in 2019, before they even had generative AI to the public. People are just caught in hysteria is what it is, really.
Right. Yeah, and I don't see any extra fingers or extra hands sticking out.
Yeah, right. Anywhere. That's very common.
Yeah, it's all very good looking. So we've got another friend that just popped in, Molly McCabe, another awesome author and booktuber. Cool. Hello, Molly. Thanks for being here.
Cool.
All right. So, well, I should ask you real quick. I'm curious, since you did D&D, Senna and Ryan were talking about Magic the Gathering. That was another one I missed out on. Did you do?
Yeah. You want to know what? That's probably one of my influences too for the manipulators or the mages of my world. Magic the Gathering and the colors. I used to play Magic with my dad when I was like 8. So
dude, that's awesome.
That's a big influence too. Magic the Gathering is awesome.
Nice. Well, there you go.
I think it's the best card game.
That was another one I missed out on, man. I missed the boat on that one.
It's fun. That's very easy to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just has like a mana system, and then you cast creatures or spells. It's like the most basic interpretation of it.
Okay. That doesn't sound too hard.
No, it's pretty easy. I used to play it on the airplane with my dad when we were going to Florida.
Oh man, that's pretty fun. That's a
Yeah, it's
fun
fun.
memory.
It's more fun than a deck of cards, in my opinion. I like
Oh,
the art a lot
yes.
too.
I mean, basically fantasy cards. I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
You can't beat that.
right.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your what was I? Oh, about your writing process. I have a couple questions, and then we can
Yeah,
dive
yeah.
more into some of the things you do. But there's usually like a couple things that readers like to know about an author's process. So first one is, do you? I think I know the answer to this after you told us about your 600-page lore, awesome compendium. But so, do you
Mhm.
consider yourself more of a plotter or a pantser?
Plotter.
Yeah, I figured with that
I may have
compendium.
initially write by pantsing and just improvising it, but I
Okay,
think you get to a certain point where you have to plan it.
right.
You encounter a problem. I think the best stories are the ones that are planned out, where you are writing it and you already have somewhat of an idea. If you're writing
Mhm.
a series, you already have somewhat of idea of what's going to happen in the sequel, and you're already saying, this character is going to pop up because they're going to have this bigger role in the next one. And it's going to be
Right, right.
unexpected.
Yep.
You have to plant seeds and do things like that where it matures into a greater story arc. So
Yep.
I think planning is good for everything. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
if you want to improvise and write stuff, that's perfectly okay. Just be
Mhm.
aware that the end quality of the story may not be as good as if you planned it out and thought
Right.
about it in advance. Even just a rudimentary idea of like, sometimes I just put like a sentence or two in parentheses when I'm have the barest idea of a chapter and say, okay, this is going to happen, or
Yep.
this and this is going to happen. So you at least know, like a director planning a film, you at least know
Yep.
the roughest outline of what the scene is going to be, so you can lead into it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's writing. It's very similar. There's writers in TV shows. There's writers in movies. There's writers in everything. It's all the same thing. You just
Mhm.
have to make it good. It's not that difficult to make good writing if you work really hard on it and you put more effort into it than any of your other hobbies. I know not everyone
Right.
has the time to do that, but my recommendation is that if you really love writing and you're more passionate about it than anything, it gives you more joy on this world than anything else you do, then you should work on your story. You should. I always recommend people. My stories open a lot in medias res, things already happening, and I
Mhm.
think that's a brilliant. I'm getting a little off topic here, but I think
No.
that's a brilliant technique. If you are stuck on where do I start, I want to write a story, but I have literally no idea where to start. Start with the most exciting thing already happening. If you're writing a story about a knight who fights a dragon, start with him at his camp, by the fire, and he gets attacked by highwaymen, or something crazy happens that takes the reader's attention, because you only have like 20, maybe 30 seconds when people do anything. Watch a movie, read a book, look at
Mhm.
something where you could retain their attention, or they'll just put it down and say, oh, that's not for me. I don't like how this opens. I had a person who didn't like the, language of my books and the way it was worded, and they just didn't read them because they didn't, and I get that,
Right. Right.
but,
You can't get them all, right?
yeah, it is what it is.
You just got to get most.
Facing criticism, you could write the most brilliant story ever that's objectively a 10 out of 10, and you will still find someone who doesn't like it,
Oh yeah. Yep.
or something about it, or
Right.
criticize
Some things
it.
just don't jive with
You're
somebody,
gonna
right?
I say this to a lot of people, you're going to do more damage to yourself mentally trying to appease everyone than you will just being cool with your story having imperfections or not everyone liking it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yep. 100%. So I think so you probably do your focus is as a plotter, but you do some pantsing too, right? You allow
I mean,
some
I think
creativity
everyone
into
does, where
things.
you're writing a scene and you say, "Oh, maybe it'll work better like
Right.
this." It's
Yep.
I ideally, I guess you want to do a mixture of both,
Right.
but I still think the people who plot
Right.
end up having more
I
intricate
feel like
plots and more setup.
yeah,
You're right,
you
though.
gotta
I
have an
mean,
idea where things are going. Right.
yeah, but like plans change, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
exactly, that's what
Yep.
you're saying. I understand.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I think that's like the best of both worlds. You have an idea of how things are gonna go, but if you come up with something better, it's like, okay, we're
Yeah,
switching this up.
everything has to be malleable, especially when you're in that iterative outline and planning
Oh yeah,
phase where the whole story could just change overnight because you don't like the way it sounds after reading
right.
it the next morning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That happens, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any characters that you didn't think were gonna be that important or big of a deal, but when you started writing them, you just kind of fell in love with them, and you're like, all right, they got to do more than this?
Um,
Or did they all kind of stick to the script, your characters?
it's hard. It's hard for me to pick a favorite character because I spend a long time on all of them. I have no like obviously there's like the six main there's a main character and there's like five supporting characters in an adventuring party. They all get the most development. But I spend a lot of time on everything, making them all really well developed backstories and
Mhm.
personalities, the way they fight, the magic they use, their philosophies, their intonations, and the way they speak. I mean, you could probably tell from the story you read. I work very hard on each of these characters, how they talk, how they
Mhm.
carry themselves. It's
Yeah.
it's really important to me because it's also reflective of how human beings are,
Right.
and you get the relation, you get the context. Almost no one is human in the book, but you still can relate to them in that emotional human way because I think I do a good job colorizing them and
Yeah.
explaining their motives and you know.
Yeah, they definitely all feel different and alive and not cookie cutter or anything like that.
Yeah, yes.
You
I,
do a
I
good
try
job of
to
that.
I try to deviate from those tropes. And if there are tropes in there, I like to invert them or put them in an
Oh
interesting
yeah.
way.
Yep. That's fun. That's a good way to do it. I like it. Let's see. We got another awesome writer and supporter in here. That's John Stevenson. Hello, my friend. He likes to do a mix of both too. Plot. He always says,
Yeah.
"Plot in your head, pants on the page."
Like if you want my honest opinion about it, you probably want a synthesis of both. People like to pick one or the
Right.
other, but the truth is you got to do whatever is going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whatever the story needs. People talk about what the story needs, like you're not the one writing it, but it's kind of
Yeah.
true. It's whatever the
Yeah.
story needs.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
I feel like
important.
it's
And
probably almost impossible to do one without the other at all, right? It's probably just more of a spectrum. You're more towards this side or that side, but
yeah,
I got to
depends on
mix
what you're
both.
doing. Like something
Something.
like a series, what I'm doing now, it requires more intricate planning.
Oh, for sure.
There's serial episode one, two, three. It's like
Right.
Star Wars. There's serialized elements
Yep.
of a
Yep.
story that have to all relate to each other, and you got to have continuity and callbacks and references and all this stuff. But if you're doing something where you're just writing one book, that's the
Yeah.
only story, it may be better to, like pants and come up with it as you go along.
Oh
For
yeah.
what I'm doing, it required more intricate plotting, and I just like to come up with stuff for this world. I just like to go on my phone when I'm just idle or I'm getting coffee or whatever and
Yeah.
come up with whatever I can think of. And I do that over and over and over and over again. So you have hundreds of pages of stuff that is more than the stories are. To me, it has its own inherent value, the setting itself and how detailed it is. My opinion.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good stuff. I agree. 100%. All right. So the other thing people usually like to know about is how do you find time for writing? Are you like a creature of habit? You're like, I'm gonna write at this time of day every day, no matter what. I'm gonna write this amount of words every day, every week, or do you just kind of take the day as it comes? You write. If it's a lot of time for writing, you do it. If there's not, tomorrow's a new day.
I try to um, write usually in the morning or in the early
Okay.
afternoon because for me, the difference between a day where I write and a day where I don't write is a big difference for me emotionally. I feel much better after I've written a few pages or a chapter, even if no one's ever going to see it, even if the thing will get eradicated and edited, it'd be completely
Mhm.
different by the end I'm done with it. So for me, it's I like doing it because I'm passionate about it. It makes me feel good. So I try to do it every day, and on the days or sometimes weeks when I can't, I notice I'm a little irritated, because I have that creative passion that wants
Right.
to come out. I want to do it, And you know, when you're your own boss like this, it's easy to just procrastinate and say,
Oh yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow, you know, whatever.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
even with, I'm blessed to have a nice amount of free time right now and work remotely and
Yeah.
do what I
That's
do
really
with my
nice.
business. And even with all that free time, I still think it's easy to make excuses and it can be difficult to get myself to sit down. Even someone like me who's got a pumping out a book every year, you know, I have like days where I just like am totally not in the mood to write. It
Right.
happens, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're sick,
Right.
sometimes you're just not into it.
Yep. Sometimes you gotta just mail it in for that day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to hate right, because then you're probably gonna
Yeah.
hate what you wrote.
Yeah. It's also, you know, I never write when I'm sick or anything. It just comes
Oh
out.
yeah. That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
So
Or,
John,
you
you
know,
popped in.
some people
Oh, go
suggest
ahead.
drinking and writing or
Oh,
drinking and editing. I don't know if I recommend that.
yeah, I don't know if that's always a good
You know,
idea.
like a glass of wine and then you do your edits. I've heard that before.
I've heard that too. I've heard that.
Yeah.
John, you popped in late, but his books are actually on his Etsy
Yeah,
store. There'll be
I'm
links
on
in the
Etsy. I'm
description.
doing like a indie curated thing where I just ship them myself and I
Yep.
do everything myself. And you know, in the future I may expand to Amazon, but I'm doing quite well with
Yeah.
where I'm at now.
Working
So
great for you right now.
yeah.
Why mess with success?
Yeah, right.
I like it. Bad Mike Guy, another awesome author, is in here.
You don't
He's
respect me at all. Oh my god.
His characters are all pantser. I don't respect him at all.
That's funny.
Yes. His writing is fun to read too. He writes some cool stuff.
Hey, he sounds like a funny guy.
Oh yeah, he's pretty funny. Let's see. Okay. Yes, that is you didn't see the links, John, because they're not in there yet. That's my bad. They will be in here. Anybody watching this on replay will see the links. Everyone in the chat, I'll put them in. It'll go in right after this is done. Sometimes it lets me, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. StreamYard problems, I don't know. But anyway, they'll be in there. Don't you worry. Because they are very good. They're behind me again here, John, if you're wondering what they are. All right. So the other question everyone wants to know is, when you're writing, do you listen to music or something else in the background? And if you do, can it be lyrical or does it have to be instrumental only? Or do you just have silence? What's your jam?
When I write, I usually listen to some kind of instrumental, you know, fantasy, sci-fi. They have lots of YouTube like dynamic soundtracks that people use to work or play games or play D&D or whatever. And I listen to a lot of those when I write. But when I edit and I do something more painstaking, because I'm a perfectionist, I need it to be quiet. So it really depends what phase I'm in. If I'm doing something more loose where I'm just writing and I need the inspiration of the music and the vibe, you know, and the atmosphere and getting into it, the immersion of like a soundtrack, when I write, I'll do that. But when I edit and I'm getting to the point where I'm like doing comma rules, I usually don't listen to music. You know, I need to be really quiet. I don't want to make a mistake, you know?
That makes sense. I like that. It
yeah. So again, it's like a mix of both. Depends what's going on.
Okay, nice. I like it. All right. So let's see. It's already been 40 minutes, man. It's flying by.
It went quick. You're doing a good job, bro.
Thanks. So you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you. I guess so.
You're making it easy. I'm just asking things, and you're just.
That's good. I'd hoped it would have turned out like this. So.
Oh yeah, it's going great, man. You're doing good. So let me see. Let's switch gears for a little bit, and then if we want to come back to anything about your writing or books, we will. But I want to switch gears and let everyone get to know you outside of your writing a little. But before we do, I always like to take a little brain break and play a little trivia game. So I have these little cards. They're called 1 minute mysteries. So I'm going to read you one, and then it tells you the case, the mystery, and then if you're not sure, I can start giving you some of the clues they give you. And then the chat can help you too, and you can decide if you want to go with their answer too. So I'm holding 3 up, so I'm going to have you pick a number between 1, 2, and 3. What do you think?
3.
3. All right, here we go. Let me see. Let me make sure this isn't one. Ah, yes. Okay, we haven't done this one yet. Good. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. The case. All right, chat. Listen up so you can help Matt out. All right, so the case. A man from Chicago deliberately puts on shorts and a tank top, then goes outside in the middle of winter and walks along a lake. The wind is blowing and it's 20 degrees outside, but he's delighted that he's not bundled up for the winter like the rest of Chicago. So the mystery is, why can the man tolerate the weather, and what is he doing? Do you have any guesses, or do you want me to start giving you some clues?
Yeah, I need clues. I have no idea.
This one's kind of hard. This one's kind of hard. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the first clue. The man is quite comfortable. So it's the first few clues kind of just restate things, but then as you go down, they give you more.
Yeah, it gets more right.
Yep.
All
right. So we got our first guess here. Molly says he's a demon. I like that, since we're talking about fantasy sci-fi here. All right. So the first clue is the man is quite comfortable, and from a physical standpoint is quite average. The man's wife is dressed in a similar fashion as him. The man is far from his work and far from his home. Okay, now the next two clues will really start to give you a good idea. Are you ready for them, or do you have any guesses?
I still don't have an idea. Go ahead.
Okay. So the next one says the man was recently a passenger on an airplane. And the last one says the forecast predicts that the weather will be, oh gosh, this is like a different language. I think really nice. Molto caldo. I don't even know. That's not a good hint. But the weather is supposed to be really nice. So remember, he's from Chicago, puts on bathing suit. He's glad he's not bundled up like the rest of Chicago. The weather's going to be nice. He was recently on an airplane. So how is he able to be so tolerant of the weather, and what is he doing? This is a weird one.
Is he in a hot tub?
He could be.
It's my only guess.
So he's not a vampire, Chad. He's not a snowman, not a demon. This is pretty lame because you guys all have really good guesses.
Yeah, they're creative.
He is on vacation. I think that it was supposed to be Italian.
20 degrees Celsius.
So it's 20 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I never would have gotten that.
That was actually probably the hardest one we've had yet.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, see, Jenkins here said
in a sauna.
Thing.
Yeah, it's close to what I was saying about being in a hot tub.
Oh, they did say Florida, so that was good thinking. Now, maybe if I knew Italian, that would have helped that last hint.
That's fine.
That was the hardest one, and also probably the lamest one so far. That was not a good one for you. Next time you come on, when book 4 comes out, we're gonna make sure we get you.
I'll be here again. I'll get an easier trivia question.
That's right. All right. So now I have a few simple questions for us to get to know Matt Sean Bell, the man.
Yep.
All right, you ready? First one is an easy warm-up one to get the brain flowing. First one is, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. I like that. I don't think I've gotten purple yet. I dig.
Yeah.
Where's the sweet purple cover then?
I'm probably gonna make one. I don't know if you can see. I'm wearing a purple shirt. It looks blue.
I thought it was blue.
No, my webcam. It looks blue. I got
It does. Okay, so you got purple on. Okay, all right. I like purple too. Purple's a sweet color.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool. All right. What is your favorite food?
Probably pizza.
Nice. Can't go wrong with pizza. Now, what kind of pizza? What toppings are your favorite?
I like pepperoni.
Nice.
I'm from New Jersey, so there's
the same way.
Pizza around here.
What's your favorite pizza place from New Jersey then? Is it like a local place?
I think it's called Mamma Mia's.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like they would have good pizza.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh man. We got another good friend here that just popped in, another author and booktuber, John A. Douglas. Good evening, my friend. It was an interesting day, yes, in the book community. It was. But we're having fun, so we're not going to worry about that right now. All right, so favorite food, pizza. So tell us, obviously, one of your favorite things to do is write, but what's a hobby or talent that we might not know that you have that that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm really into 3D printing.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
I
What? So do you have your own 3D printer then?
Yes, I had one for the longest time, and I recently loaned it to my brother because I'm kind of too busy right now to take care of the 3D printing business. I have a lot of stuff going on, so he's taking
Oh
care
yeah.
of it for me right now.
Oh, that's cool. So
But
you
I
guys do
learned
it?
how to I learned how to do like everything, modeling and AutoCAD and
Oh, dang.
designing things and printing them, and
Okay.
yeah.
So you're like legit with it.
Yeah, well, I was around in 2017 with a 3D printer when like the fidget spinner craze was around. I was
Oh
making
yeah. So,
a
yeah.
lot of money off of that, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of fads, like a lot of
Oh yeah.
commercial
It did.
things,
It really did. They came
disappeared.
out
I
with a
remember
lot
I
of
was
good
selling
things.
like Pikachu fidget spinners, and I was snapping in the ball bearings with my brother, and then, like 3 months later, it just completely died out.
Nothing. Oh man. Yeah. That's true. They did just kind of go away. I mean, they're still out there, but
They're
you
still
don't
out
buy
there.
them as
Yeah,
much as
it's
they used
not
to.
like this thing that
No.
everyone under
No.
13 is buying.
Yeah.
now.
Everybody wanted a fidget spinner for a while there.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the last thing you 3D printed then?
Um, I actually hold on. I'm gonna turn my camera off just for a sec to get it.
Oh yeah. Go
I'll
ahead.
show you. Give me one moment.
Oh, no problem, man. Molly, I will send you a little message after this is done. I'll fill you in if someone else isn't already. Oh, so I hope everybody's having a great day. I know some of my friends more southern from me are getting some crazy weather. I've got some crazy weather on the way tomorrow evening. I know some of you are in it right now, so I hope everybody's staying safe and warm and toasty, like the man from Chicago. Oh man, I don't know. It was quite a day. Let's see. While we're waiting for Matt, what can I think of to tell you guys about? I made some Chinese for dinner tonight. That went well. This is what you came for. Am I going to learn Italian now, Molly? Oh gosh, no. That would be cool though. I took lots of Spanish in high school, and I don't
I'm
remember.
back now. So
All
this
right,
was
welcome
something. One of the last things I 3D printed. I had a MMU printer, which had a multi-material unit, and this
Okay.
is Spider-Man.
What? Get the heck out
He
of here,
looks
man.
he looks painted, right? He's
Yeah.
not painted. He
That's
prints.
insane. The
like
whole thing was
that.
printed. It
It
printed
was
like
printed.
that.
It was printed. You put in red filament, you put in white
What?
filament, you put in black filament, and you get this. Look at the bottom too. The base,
Dude.
really solid. Yeah,
Right,
no, it's nuts.
You
The
need
technology.
you need
I
to do that
know.
and make a boatload of money
I
from it.
know.
And you know what I need you to do? I need you to make this guy for me.
Oh yeah.
And I will
Yeah,
buy him.
you want to know what? You could take a 2D image and extrude it. It might look all right. I've done that before.
I
with a
just
cake
saw
topper.
your Spider-Man. I want you to do it. I'm not doing
Okay.
It's not gonna look like that if I do it.
Right.
Eventually.
Thank you.
Maybe I can learn, but
Yeah.
that's sweet, man. Let me see it. Let us see it again.
Yeah,
That's
here,
awesome.
take a look again.
Dang, dude. That
Yeah,
came out
it
so
looks
cool.
great.
Yeah.
And it was, you download the file. I didn't make the file, but
Right.
you get
But
it to the
still.
point where it's set up in a way where it could make this without messing up or stringing.
It still blows my mind. 3D printers.
The technology is getting crazy with it.
It is.
I've been doing it for like 7 or 8 years now, but it's gotten to the point where you could make stuff that looks like it was injection molded from China, or they have resin 3D printers where you could just print stuff made of high quality resin, like these collectibles that they make for Marvel.
Yeah, right, for sure. So how long does something like that take to print?
This probably takes like 3 days. Mm-hmm. It takes longer than something that will be a solid color, because every time it moves and it goes from red to black, has to squirt out a little red, change to black, and create all this base material. So like it's kind of like the machine's like forcing out whatever's left in it, changing, doing it, then just endlessly discarding a little bit of waste material just to change color. So that's the downside of that, is that like you end up throwing out a bunch of plastic that you wouldn't otherwise if something's a solid color.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like you have to think like architecturally almost. You have to think in a different mindset about like, can this structure support itself, or is the machine going to have to build little supports that I'm going to have to snap and sand off just to create a flat surface for it to build on?
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting. You got to think in a different mindset than I have for other things. You almost feel like an engineer or someone who is planning out the proportions of something,
Yeah, for sure. It's very much what it's like. Yeah, I agree. That's crazy. Now, do you have to do anything? If it's taken 3 days, do you have to like empty out like a waste thing, or like
it has like a chute where it just like crafts it out, and you can put like a bucket in it. I mean, it's designed in a more intuitive way than the old ones. It literally just discards it behind it, and you could put like a little basket or something.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
But these results, I should mention, are from like a 3D printer that's like pretty top of the line. If you buy like a $200 or $300 one, it's probably not going to
make that. Yeah. That makes sense. It's still sweet though.
It looks amazing. I can't believe it. I got to make more stuff like that.
Heck yeah, dude. You definitely should. Now, so you said it takes 3 days. Is it working the whole time, or does it ever like rest?
Yeah, it works. It's supposed to work continuously from morning till night. And you put in enough filament where you measure out how many grams it uses, and you put in enough spools. And then it hopefully, finishes and does all of it in a timely fashion where it's efficient. It uses enough of it.
Crazy. Don't mind my dogs. I'll ask you another question.
Fine. I love
and then I'll
dogs,
mute myself. I think my wife's just getting home from work, so that's why they're freaking out.
That's all right.
Until she comes in the door, they'll freak out. All right. So next question. Tell me your favorite, and you don't have to do. Okay. Well, first, before I ask this question, I'm gonna ask: are you a gamer? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us your system of choice and some of your favorite games or types of games you like to play.
Well, I play on a PC.
Nice. I figured.
I like to play a lot of strategy or turn-based games like Total War Warhammer and Age of Empires. I like RTS games.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, and it seems like a lot of people have too. I've been enjoying that.
That's all the rage right now.
Yeah, I like Halo. I like a bit of everything. But I grew up when I was a kid in the late '90s when they had the RTS boom with Command and Conquer, and Age of Empires, and Warcraft and StarCraft. Yeah, those games are all amazing. So that's really what I gravitate towards the most. The games where you really have to use your brain, because it's getting increasingly more towards the people who have lower attention spans and just want instant gratification, rather than you playing games where you have to really think and execute a strategy. Yeah. It's changed a lot, but it has been like 30 years. I mean, I'm almost 30 years old. So.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Command and Conquer. Molly agrees. She plays PC, and
there you go.
Also love Command and Conquer.
There you go.
The game was sick. I love
that. Yeah, his games are amazing.
They were awesome.
I wish they do something with that intellectual property, but they're content to just turn it into a phone game, I guess.
I know. It's like, it was so popular. You'd think they would try to upgrade it.
It's such an easy way for them to make money, too.
Oh, they could make it so cool nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do? We can't do anything with it. Shout out to Library on Legs. Thank you for that. I'm still not used to this. It's only my second one I've ever gotten. So thank you, because I just
dude, congratulations. That's awesome.
I like to put them up so I can screenshot this.
That's sweet. Awesome, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I just hit that threshold where I can
I would be so excited if someone gave me $5.
Yeah. I know. That's so nice. It made my day. It is, and it has been a fun chat. Thank you, Senna. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys are doing good. Thank you for the questions and stuff.
Yeah, you guys have been an awesome chat for sure.
There's no trolls or weirdos. We're doing good.
I know. I told you it's a fun time. We got a great group usually in here. Pretty much 99.9% of the time, besides that one time we had a bot that we had to kick out. That was the only time, which we think it was a bot. Like you said, you never know now.
Yeah, you never know nowadays with how everything is. It's really uncertain.
Very much. All right. So what about movies or TV shows? What are some of your favorite movies and TV shows?
Well, I love Blade Runner.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm really a fan of the
Classic.
original. I think it
Yeah.
was from
Me too.
1982. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I like Alien. I like Aliens. I like Predator. I like Terminator. I like all the
Oh
stuff
man.
that like
Like all the
dudes
good ones.
enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All sci-fi and fantasy
Oh heck
and
yeah.
all that
You
stuff.
can't go wrong with any of those.
Yeah, I watched a movie recently with my dad. That was really good. I'm trying to think of the name. One moment.
Oh, no problem.
Altered States, it was called. I don't know if you've seen it,
Hey, that sounds
but
familiar.
it's from like 1980.
Look it
William
up.
Hurt is in it, and
Oh, okay.
I thought that movie was mind blowing.
Was
It
it?
is nuts. Yeah,
State.
just the concept alone. It's about this dude who puts himself in an immersion tank. He's trying to solve like
Oh,
schizophrenia. He puts
yeah,
himself in
yeah,
an
yeah.
immersion tank, and he like gets back in touch with his primal ancestors and
Yeah.
has all these weird dreams and visions, and he starts like slowly turning into like a Neanderthal and shit.
Yeah.
The
Is
movie's
it crazy?
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I know
crazy.
I just looked it up. I never watched it, but I remember seeing
It's
that all the
so
time and wondering.
underrated. Like
Yeah.
if my dad didn't tell me about it, I probably would have never
Oh,
watched it.
never would have watched it.
I don't think I've even heard about it beyond him mentioning it to me.
No, I hadn't either.
It's
But when
really,
I used
it's
to
just, yeah.
I used to work in a video store back in the day when those were
Oh,
still a
nice.
thing. And I remember seeing that there. As soon as I
Yeah,
just looked it up and I saw
that's a cult
the cover.
classic, man.
Yeah, but I never watched it, so it's a pretty fun ride then, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just got such a unique premise, and it does a lot with like a small budget, you know?
Okay, very cool. Senna, Library and Legs, loved
Blade
Blade
Runner,
Runner,
yeah.
and she's seen Altered
Altered
States.
States.
There we go.
Nice. Hey, I'm picking
There
some
we
good
go.
ones.
Now, speaking of Library and Legs, she is a huge audiobook person, so she usually likes me to ask if there's any plans for audio for your books.
There are. And
Okay.
when I'm done with all 5 books, I want to
Okay.
just make audiobooks out of each one. I want to finish the story, and then when I have more time to do stuff like that, when the story is told and it's finished, I can have time to really make audiobooks. But it's
Right.
something I want to do. I get requests not just from you guys, but a lot of people. I could
Yeah, I
probably
bet.
name like 15, 20 who have said to me, the book looks great, but I primarily, listen to
Yeah, you love it.
audiobooks.
Yeah.
Can you let me know when there's an audiobook? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, God damn it. Now I got to make an audiobook.
I gotta make a video.
I got to do even more work. Right.
I know.
But it's
The
something that
process.
I've wanted to do for
Yeah.
like probably like a year or two now. So yeah, I plan to make them. I don't know when. It's kind of low on my priority list, but I want to
Right.
do it. I know it's important.
Yeah, that's
And I
awesome,
know
man.
some people just like listen to an audiobook in the car when they drive, and that's
Yeah.
how they read.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yep. All right, very awesome. So let's see. Senna said that your dad's probably her age. Well, I don't know because you're 29 and Senna's forever 29. So I don't know if that works out. I don't know. All right, so let's see. I asked about you. What about TV shows? Do you ever watch like streaming shows or TV shows, or more movies?
I mean, for TV shows, it's different. I watch a lot of comedy with TV. I watch like It's Always Sunny and South Park,
Classic.
and stuff like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
just want to, when I watch a TV show, I usually want to laugh and just take a break
Right.
from like
Turn your
how
brain off.
depressing life gets sometimes,
Yep, I get that. Yep.
Yeah. I watch a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm too. I
Oh
love that show,
man, I forgot about that show. That's a good
Yeah,
one
well,
too.
it had a new season. I don't know if you know it.
What?
It ended. It had a 12th
Yes.
final season, and it
No
ended.
way.
But it was great, dude. Even the
dude.
new episodes are really funny, despite Larry
know I had
David
new
being like
episodes.
75.
Right. He's getting up there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
cool. I'll have to look it up. I didn't know it came back for a season.
Yeah, no, they've had. I love the humor because I'm Jewish. So for me, I just get a lot of what he's saying.
Yeah.
A lot of the criticisms,
Rant.
about temple and the religion are just always really relevant to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get that really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was a good show. He's pretty funny. I get that.
Yeah, Seinfeld has some,
Oh, yeah.
humor in it too. That's also like his writing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Um, man, I just thought of something else. Oh, so you showed the Spider-Man thing. So did you back in the day, did you read comics or get into superhero
Yeah, I
stuff?
mean, I've always been into Marvel. I'm a Marvel guy. I
Yeah.
don't really like DC. It's just my dad likes Marvel, so
Oh
I got
yeah.
into
So
it.
you came by it naturally.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's your
I have
favorite?
I like Moon Knight actually
Ooh, I
a
like
lot.
Moon Knight too.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's cool, man.
Heck
But
yeah.
I have a big collection of CGC graded comics, and that's a
Ooh.
big portion of what I sell in my
Oh
store. I
yeah.
collected them over maybe, I don't know,
Okay.
6 or 7 years. And
Nice.
now's a time where a lot of them have appreciated because of the movies. And I'm
Yeah.
looking to, make up space on my, on my cupboard and on my
Yeah.
bookshelf where they're all
Heck yeah.
stored. So I'm just looking to get rid of a lot of them at this point. So
That's awesome,
I
man.
have I have a lot of comics in the house. I got to get rid of them.
Oh yeah. Do you take
They're
them to
just
like a comic shop or to like a show and try to sell them, or are you just doing it all through?
I've been doing it online. A long time ago, I tried bringing them to a comic shop, and they were like
They'll try to
super
lowball
like
you.
stingy about what
Mhm.
grade and what color the
Yeah.
label was. And I didn't know really what I was doing back then,
Yeah.
but it
You gotta
seems
be careful.
harder. They want like really low risk stuff, I
Mhm.
think, because you know
Yeah.
having a comic shop, I think nowadays that's physical is tough. I had
Oh.
the record store here in New Jersey closed, which was a huge comic shop. I had this place in
Mhm.
the mall closed.
Ugh.
I think it's just really it's tough for
Tough to
bookstores
make
too,
it. Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
impossible to compete with uh I think online retail and
Yeah.
Amazon
I
sometimes.
agree. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's a bummer because yeah, where I'm at, there's like no like indie or local or used bookstores. There's just like a couple of Barnes and Nobles, and that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
even those I don't know how well they do. I don't know how much
Yeah,
longer,
I feel like they're losing money. So yeah, you wonder how
Absolutely,
long
man.
even those will be around. But
They mostly just sell like Dungeons and Dragons stuff now, I think. I go into Barnes and Noble, they have like a whole tabletop section now.
yeah, they do surprisingly.
Yep.
And it probably depends on where you go to.
Yeah, yeah.
With some of
What
them,
state you
you
live in?
see a little
It
corner of
depends.
that, and then other ones, yeah, there's a bunch, and it's like,
Yeah,
man, why can't they all be like this?
yeah. It's
Which
like a
is pretty
hobby
cool.
shop.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see, man. Well, all right, so we're at an hour, so we usually wrap up around here. But let me think. Is there
Yeah,
anything
you
that
could.
anything that you want to share or talk about, or
I mean, me not really, unless your audience has any questions
yeah?
before I go. I'm down to answer some stuff, but
Oh, for sure.
I think I've talked enough. I said a
Well,
lot. I think I
it's been fun,
basically
man.
explained everything I wanted to. I don't really have
Good.
anything else to add for you
Okay.
guys.
Good. I wanted to make sure we hit everything because I know
Yeah, no, I
you
think
planned
if
ahead. So because you are
yeah,
a planner, so you planned
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, exactly.
You knew what you wanted to say, so that was good. I think
Right.
you did awesome, man. It was a lot
Oh,
of fun.
thank you. I
It was a
appreciate it.
blast.
And this is going to make it easier if I ever have to do any of these in the
Heck yeah.
future. I
Yeah.
won't feel as nervous about starting.
Exactly. You got this, man.
Thank you. I
Grandma
appreciate it.
loved you. You were comfortable. You rocked it out. It was a lot of fun. Well done. And
Cool.
when all else fails, just pull out that sweet Spider-Man and get everybody
Yeah,
going.
it's a
Ooh,
good distraction, right? Oh my God, look at that thing.
look at
Yeah,
that.
I definitely gotta make more. Those are called multi-material prints. I
Okay.
definitely want to make more of those. They're just kind of expensive and it takes a while to set the file up perfectly.
Oh, I
The
bet.
first time I made it, it was too hollow on the inside.
Oh,
So it
okay.
just kind of broke apart in my hands
Oh
after I
gosh,
made it.
that sucks.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
needed to make it a little more dense.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Okay.
it's a little bit like engineering where you got to think physically, structurally about this thing like it's a house or something.
Yeah. It'd be sweet as if you made a Moon Knight one of those.
Yeah,
That would
I'll
be pretty
check.
sick.
I mean, bro, if they have a file that's like black and white or whatever, and the colors are set up right, there's nothing stopping me from printing that.
Right. Yeah.
It's very easy if there are files on
Right.
these STL websites.
Very cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. I look
Yeah,
forward
no, this
to
was great, dude. Thank you.
yeah,
I really
yeah, of
appreciate
course.
it.
So again, you are working on books 4 and 5, so this is not a
Right.
complete trilogy. There's
It's not
still more to
just a
come.
trilogy. It's a
Yep.
trilogy right now.
Yep. Yeah. So again, if you're in the chat right now, there's not links in there, but they will be in there as soon as we're done. They'll pop up. So if you want to read these, you should. I've read the first one, and it's very good. They're novella length. Let's show that again real quick. They're
Yeah.
quick read,
Yep.
very fast paced.
They vary between 123 to
Yep.
176 pages right now. So if you want to finish them in 1 or 2 nights after work, you totally can, and you digest the story. You wouldn't be missing anything.
Yes, and it is, like Matt said at the beginning, if you missed it, it's a mashup of everything you love about fantasy and everything you love about sci-fi, and he just mashes them together and nails it.
Yeah,
It's very well
it's
done.
a genre hybrid, I think it's called.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
All right, so I would love to have you on again when book 4 is getting ready to come out.
Dude, I'll message you. It's probably going to be October at the latest, and we'll do something, bro. I'd love to come back again. This is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Really
Awesome.
This is great.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, so everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. You guys rocked it. And Matt, thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you too. And thank you guys for coming in the chat and asking me questions. I appreciate it. Really, it means a lot.
Yeah. All right. So again, check out his website. Links will be in the description. And yeah, you guys have a great night. Everybody stay safe. I know there's some winter weather making the rounds around the country.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy right now.
I know. Everybody stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you guys on Thursday night. We'll be back here at, let's see, what time? I think 6. I'll be with the Red Company. That's Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Chance, Dylan, and Alex. We are going to be talking about our book we were reading together, Eluthian, and we're just going to hang out and talk about that book. So look forward to that Thursday night. That'll be the next Beast Friends Forever. I'll see you guys then. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see everybody.